Hi everyone, welcome to another session from the playlist Land Language from Dharmapeetam. So we had been discussing the difference between the primary auxiliary verbs and modal auxiliary verbs in the previous sessions. So let's continue with that. So one major difference that primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries have is that primary auxiliaries, just like main verbs, have different verb forms. So when we look, we can see all primary verbs have a base form, and there are different forms of verbs which generate from these base forms. We classify them basically into present tense, past tense, past participle form, present participle form, future tense. Then we have infinitive, to infinitive form as well. So how these main verbs generate these forms? Let's have a look at it. Look at the table given. The base form of the verb is walk. In present tense, we have two forms, walk or walks. In past tense, it's walked. It's a regular verb, so it forms its past tense by adding ed. Past participle form also is created by adding ed only. And then we have a present participle form. It's ing form getting added to the base form of the verb, so that is walking. Future tense is actually when we add the base form of the verb with a will or shall. So will walk or shall walk can become the future tense, and the infinitive form is to walk. An infinitive form of a verb is created by adding to before the base form of the verb. So as far as the base form of the verb is walk, we have the infinitive form to walk. Now let us consider some irregular verbs. Bring. The base form is bring. Present tense form is bring or brings. It's an irregular verb, so its past tense is brought. Past participle also is brought. Present participle is bringing. Future tense is will bring or shall bring, so will or shall bring. Infinitive is a to form, so to bring. Sit. Base form is a sit. Present tense is a sit or a sits. Past tense is a sat. Past participle is also sat. Present participle is a sitting. Future tense is will sit or shall sit, so will or shall sit. Infinitive is to sit. Now go. Present tense is go or goes. Past tense went. Past participle gone. Present participle going. Future tense will go or shall go. Infinitive form is to plus base form to go. Cut, another verb. Present tense can be either cut or cuts. It's such kind of a strong verb which will not change its form in the past tense and the past participle form. We had already discussed it. So the past tense is cut, past participle also is cut, present participle is cutting, future tense is will cut or shall cut, so will or shall cut. Infinitive form is to cut. When we consider the primary auxiliary verbs, we can find the same kinds of forms that can be created out of their base forms. Just like a main verb, these verbs, primary auxiliary verbs, can also have these kinds of forms. Present tense form, past tense form, past participle form, present participle form, future tense form, and to infinitive form. Look at the table now. Base form is be. Base form is a be. It's a present tense form. Is, am, are. Three present tense forms are there for be forms. Is, am, are. Is used when the subject is a singular. Am is used when the subject is a first personal pronoun I. When the first personal pronoun I is used, in present tense it's followed by am. If the subject is a plural, then we use are in present tense. Coming to past tense, we have two forms, was and were. Was and were. Was is used when the subject is singular. Instead of in present tense we used is. So in past tense we use was. In the same way, if the subject of the sentence is first personal pronoun I, again in past tense we use was. I was going to the market. Right? In present tense we can say I am going to the market. In past tense we can say I was going to the market. If the subject is a plural, instead of are, in past tense we use were. So in past tense we have two forms of be, was and were. Coming to the past participle form of the verb be, it is been, B-E-E-N, been. When we add ing to the base form of the verb be, we get a present participle form being. Future tense will be or shall be. Remember, will and shall are modal auxiliary verbs and they have to be followed by base form of the verb. So base form of all these is, am, are, was, were is be. So we use will be or shall be. To make the infinitive form we have a to be. Right? So all the be forms are there in all these different verb forms. Now coming to have. In present tense we use have or has. If the subject is a singular, we use has. He has. Whether she has. Or it has. Or Ram has. Singular. If the subject is a plural, boys have, not has. Okay. So have is used when the subject is a plural. Right. Then if the subject is first personal pronoun I, when the subject is a first personal pronoun I, again we use have there, not has. I have, not I has. Right? Past tense we have only had. Whether the subject is a singular or a plural, we have only one form, that is had. Past participle is also had. Present participle form of have form is having. Having. But regarding the usage of this particular word having, we need to be very careful. We will deal with that particular thing when we deal with the tense forms. Right? Now coming to the future tense, we have will have or shall have. So will or shall have. And to form the infinitives, we have to have. So in infinitive form also, following the preposition to, the base form of the verb will be used. So there is no to has, only to have. Right? Do forms. Present tense we have do or does. If the subject is a singular, we use does. If the subject is a plural or a first personal pronoun I, we use do. In past tense we have did. For both subject singular and plural subjects we have did. In past participle form we have done. In present participle form we have doing. Future tense will or shall do. Infinitive to do. So just like the main verbs, now we have all these types of verb forms as far as primary auxiliary verbs are concerned. But coming to modal auxiliary verbs, we have problems. Basically, they do not have a base form. As far as modal auxiliary verbs are concerned, we cannot find a base form for them. They have their own existence. Can, could, that's it. Right? And they do not have these kinds of past participle or present participle kinds of forms as well. Right? We may be able to find some words which resemble them either in the spelling or in the pronunciation, but they have different meanings. Some of them are nouns, verbs, but main verbs. For example, we can say can. In present tense, we use can. I can, he can, they can. Whether the subject is singular or plural, none of these modal auxiliary verbs will change. Primary auxiliaries change. Is, was, are, were, has, have, do, does. So these changes are there. But when it comes to modal auxiliaries, they do not have any such changes. Whether the subject is a singular or plural, they do remain the same. So he can do it, they can do it. It's not he can't do it. No. Yeah, we have this verb called, the word called cans. So when we use the cans, it's a noun. Cans is a noun. We know we get this Diet Coke and all these kinds of things in cans, right? So such kinds of tins are called cans or water cans. So that is not a verb, it's a noun entirely. So we also have the process called canning. The process of filling these kinds of things inside the can and sealing it is called a process of canning, and that's a main verb. It's not the ing form of modal auxiliary verb can. Right? So such kinds of resemblances can be there, but they cannot be considered as the forms of a modal auxiliary verb can or any other verb. We have willing, I am willing to do it, right? That is simply expressing your what we call the willingness. You are ready to do it. So I am willing to do it means willing is used as a main verb, not as an ing form of a auxiliary verb will. The same is the case with all the remaining modal auxiliary verbs as well, right? So primary auxiliary verbs, just like main verbs, can have different forms among them so as to assist to the different needs that they have to fulfill in assisting the main verb, right? But when it comes to modal auxiliary verbs, they cannot take any such forms, right? So that's it for the session now, and with some other differences we will meet in the next session.